Hey guys, today we will learn to add various elements to the empty activity in Android Studio. For that, we'll have to create a new project. I'll already explained you last time that how to create a new project. So this time directly start with a new project which I had created. So you all guys go ahead and create your own new project and meet me right back here. I hope you have done your new project, and this is what you should be greeted with: a coding message and a hello world main activity.xml file. If you can't see this hello world, you can see these three options: code, split, and design. So we will use the design tab to access this. Otherwise, normally it comes like this. We don't want to see this, so we want to only see the design, the front end view design part, and not the code. So after the design part, we will go ahead and resize these tabs a bit because space is a lot of problem in these type of application. Okay, so let's start with the basic tools which we are given to do this front end designing. You can see this is a palette. Here all the basic tools like a button, image view, or various types of text boxes, passwords, plain text, text view. Text view is something which only the main developer who develops the app can edit it, and the end user can't edit this text view. So whatever you type in the text view stays the same in the end user app. The plain text is like a text box which we can use to get input from the user, and it can be like manipulated by the user. The password, you can understand what a password is. This is password only numeric. This is email, phone, postal address, and there are many more. According to your needs, you can choose a particular element, and once you have chosen your particular element, for example, I need to use a text view, so I'll select it first and then I'll click and hold and then drag and drop to the activity. This screen is called an activity. I can then resize it from one corner, little big for my accessibility. Then I can go ahead and start linking this to the empty activity using these link curves. See this spring type line that comes, it's called a linker, and it like defines the position of your text box or text view in an activity. Without this, normally a text view will fly like anywhere because it's not like defined where it should be in an activity. Like this is already predefined. We will define this by holding a white circle, then dragging it to the edge of the activity and then releasing it. So it automatically catches it and then aligns with it. Same, I'll show you once more. See, this is a text view. There are white circles. We will resize it a bit for the accessibility. We will press and hold to the edge. We will do it again. Press and hold to the edge. Same is on the side. Press and hold, and basically you're done. So right now, I'll take this to the top, this in the middle, and this should be at the last. uh, that's how you will be able to design and manipulate the items in empty activity. So right now you can see this hello world comes as a text view too, id. Id, it's like a variable name for this text box. This text box has a name and its name is text view 2. The problem is we don't know in the backend code that what are we dealing with. For example, if I say I want to change the text of the text view to text box, so you will ask what is it exactly and where is it and how to identify it. So to minimize that discrepancy, we will rename this id to something that we can relate to later in the backend of the code. So we'll rename it to, let's say, text view header 1. So now we know that this is one of the header of our empty activity, or you can say title, whatever you want to write. Basically, you should know where this is by just hearing the name of the particular element. So we can go ahead, press enter on the keyboard, and this rename tab will occur. You have to click refactor, and basically it's done. It's renamed to text view header 1. We can go ahead and do the same for the second one. We can type in text view header 2 and click enter and click refactor. So this is also done. The same way we'll do the third one. This, because I have a particular project in mind right now, so I will give this a different kind of name. I'll name this text view name. Click enter, click refactor. So now you can see we have manipulated with the id, which is basically, you can consider it as a variable name of this particular text box. So when you reference this in the back code, which is the .java file, this would be very helpful. And this is one type of text box which only the main developer of the app, which are we, can edit this, and the end user won't be able to edit this. So we will go ahead and click another type of text box, click it, drag, hold, drag and drop on the empty, like on the activity. You can see we have since this is highlighted, we can see the id name of this. If it doesn't come like any type of id name close to this doesn't comes, then you probably might have selected the empty activity. So go ahead and click the different kind of text box, and it should get highlighted in blue, and you should be able to see this id, and you can go ahead and edit this. I will type in id input user, because I am going to take an input from the user, because this can be manipulated by the end user and also by the developer. So I will give the name of this input box id input user. Click refactor, and you can see the id, it has renamed it. So also we had to link this to the edges of the project. See, we'll go ahead and quickly do that too. This is done, this is done, this is done, and this is done. Okay, so we are good to go ahead. Once this is done, you can change the text to something you want to share the info about, like enter here. After that, you can press enter on the keyboard and it should take up in the manipulation here to the main activity. After that, we will take a different kind of element, which is a button. We'll press and hold it, drag and drop on the activity. Now we will resize it a bit, then again align it. We can call this button event. Okay, and press enter, refractor, and we are done. Almost done. We have to say click here, press enter, and it should appear on the activity 2. So we can go ahead and link this again. Okay, we have done linking it. Now since we have almost done with everything, we can go ahead adjust these things again a bit so that they are like a bit proper. So you can see I've adjusted it now, and now I will change the parameters, like basically beautify it a bit. So uh, for simplifying things, I will type, there is a search bar over here. uh, in the attribute section there is a search bar. So if you want to manipulate a particular thing in an element, you can click on the search bar and then type the thing you want to manipulate. For example, I want to change something related to the text of that text view. So I will type in text in the search bar, and you can see the various option it shows me. Here I want to change the hello world to something else. I will change it to information of student. I'll click enter and it should appear on the screen too. And since you can see it's a bit small and unreadable, so we can also increase the size. You can see the text size option over here. We can go ahead and increase it. Right now it's 14 sp, we can increase it to around 24 sp. Once you can see size has increased, so you need to resize the text box in order to accommodate the new attributes of the text. Once that's done, you can um, select the alignment of the text, which is also a very important thing, and we can go ahead and select center. So now that's centrally aligned to the text box. This I mean the text view. Once that's done, you can go ahead and do the same for the rest of the text views. Once you can see the main activity is almost complete, and if you are a bit impatient and want to see how it looks on the end product of our virtual device, you can go ahead and open your virtual device, and from that you can build the app by pressing the play button over here. You can see it started building. Okay, now it's saying install. Now you can see on the virtual device, which is our phone, main front end looks on the phone. You can see we cannot edit this part of the text view, nor this part, nor this part. We can only edit or manipulate this part of the text view. Like I can type in my name here, and we can click on this button, but right now it won't do anything because we haven't done the back end linking to the front end linking, and we have to do some coding for that. So yeah, you can see how it looks on the virtual device. Okay, once that's done, you can go ahead and click main.java. Before you do anything here, you might want to press the pause button, which would be in red in color somewhere over here, and after that only you can go ahead and start editing this main activity.java, which is the back end of this application. First we will define some classes which are important, like for the editing point of view. I'll explain the meaning of each of the classes as we go further into the coding session. First we will define a private edit text, and then we will go back just a second here, and we'll see the name of this id input user. Now you will kind of like understand on the front end of this application. So we will type in here id input user. So id input user semicolon and enter. Next we will do the object of the button. We will go ahead, go back and see the id of the button, which is called button event. We will go here, we'll write button event semicolon and enter. One more is remaining, which is the text view. So we'll go ahead and complete that. Private text view, watch out for the capital letters and small letters, space. Now right now we want a particular text view to be manipulated by the backend, which is the output text view, and the name of this text view is text view name. So we'll write here text view name semicolon and enter. So that's all for the object making for this program. I'll explain the meaning of this later in the program. You can come down and start writing your code in the on create function. So we will use the id input user, and we will use the edit text library view by id, and we have to view the id of r dot id id input user. Okay, so say the same we will do for the rest of the two private classes, I mean private objects. Button event is equal to function button find view id by r dot id dot button event. Next we will do the final output where the output will be shown. So that would be the text view name is equal to text view library find view by id r dot id dot text view name, and we will go ahead and click semicolon and click enter. Then we have to do a operation when the button is clicked. So we will make a function for the event when the button is clicked. So we will write the following code as the button event, which is our button, and we need to set this on listen mode so that it can listen to what the user is doing operation on it. So we will type the following code dot set on click listener new view view on click listener. It will automatically come in public void on click view. So in this function we will type in the rest of the code, which is we want to first change the text on the button to click so that the user knows that the button is has been clicked. So we'll type in button event dot set text to set the text of the button to clicked, and we click enter. Next we will do the text view name dot set text to hi, and we'll use and concat id input user dot get text function. Okay, so that's it for the backend of the code, and we'll go ahead and try to build this app, and hopefully there comes no errors. Oh, I forgot this particular. Okay, so now it should not come any errors. Okay, so you can see that the build is successful and it says app restart successful. So it should say something like build successful in some seconds, milliseconds. So after that, I'll show you how it appears on the virtual device. Let's see if our code works on the virtual device. I'll use my keyboard for this, but you can also use the on-screen keyboard like this and then click here and it says hi Pradyun. So that's it. That's how the code works and it definitely works. So yeah, our backend was a success. And if you see any like yellow errors popping up, unless and until it doesn't stop you from building the app, don't touch those errors because those are like some old version, new version kind of errors. So don't touch those, and you can see the output is coming. So yeah, that's a thumbs up for us, and you can go create your own application with new activity, create a new activity, make your own projects, do a bit exploring and have fun basically. So yeah, all the best.